Okay, so I haven't done one of these videos in quite some time, and there's one person who I feel like should be a part of this.
Hi.
So about more than a year ago, I made 2 of these videos with my friends, Mr. Oven and Red's Mayhem. So right here, I have my brother, and I'm going to be teaching him about entomology, and I have a large assortment of very unique insects. So yeah, I'm going to teach him about entomology, how you identify species, certain facts about these species, and all that kind of cool stuff. Let's get started. Alright, so first off, right here, you see that? That right there is a male honeybee, also known as a drone. So I caught this species in Jamaica not too long after I got stung in the foot by a honeybee. Alright, next off is this beautiful fuzzy bumblebee called the golden northern bumblebee. It is a bright yellow bumblebee that is very large, and it's pretty common here in Idaho.
I feel like I can pet it like a dog, like...
Yeah, it is really fluffy. A very, very nice yellow shade. Very fluffy bumblebees. Now this right here is a queen. The worker, which I have a worker in here, it's slightly smaller. It's about like half the size of this. It's a very, very cool bumblebee species, and I love seeing these every time I see them outside. So, very cool. Here's a very, very similar species to the golden northern bumblebee. This right here is the white-shouldered bumblebee. It is practically the same, but this one, unlike the golden northern bumblebee, has, instead of having yellow on the thorax, it has a whitish, I call it banana color, because it's like the color of the inside of a banana. It's like a yellowish, whitish color. A very cool species, and I found this in Coeur d'Alene when we were camping there. And, oh, it's so cool. This one is also a queen, and I was so happy when I found this, because there was 3 very unique bumblebee species I made on my list last summer. It was the Nevada bumblebee, the Morrison's bumblebee, and the white-shouldered bumblebee. And this right here is the white-shouldered bumblebee. Now, this thing is often confused for a bumblebee because there's some species that are yellow. This is a carpenter bee, more specifically the valley carpenter bee. Awesome species, and it was like one of the best catches I've ever had. This was found in Tucson, Arizona. We were in the parking lot, and on a flower was this very large carpenter bee. The species is just really awesome. I was so glad when I found it. Alright, now let's move into wasps. This right here is the western cicada killer. It is a reasonably big wasp. One of the largest wasps here in Idaho. Very, very cool. Orange and yellow. They kill cicadas. What they do is they will fly. An adult female will fly over and find a cicada. It'll tackle it and start stinging it. The venom will paralyze it, and it'll drag it back to the hole that it makes, lay an egg on it. The egg will hatch and eat the cicada alive. Wasps are brutal. And I think it was a 2 only, or a 1.5, something like that on the Schmidt pain index. Nowhere near as bad as a yellow jacket sting. Here is a relatively smaller wasp species. This right here is a blue-eyed ensign wasp. Now these things have a very short and weird-looking abdomen. This one was found in Jamaica. The reason it gets the name blue-eyed ensign wasp is because when they're alive, now that it's dead, you can't tell, but when it's alive, its eyes are a very, very blue color. Speaking of blue, this right here is the steel blue cricket hunter. This thing...
Shiny.
Very shiny. The wings are... The wings are very shiny, too. Looks like a living jewel. An amazing wasp. This right here is not the caterpillar... The cow killer in the family Mutilidae, which is the family of velvet ants. Velvet ants get their name from having red fur. Most of them have red fur, some of them don't. This species has a very, very tough exoskeleton. If you look from the side view, the pin is actually bent. That's how much work it took to get this pin into this velvet ant.
Strong.
It's also known as the common eastern velvet ant because it is common in the eastern United States, not the western United States. Me finding this thing was awesome. I also had to walk through tons of goat heads, and my shoes were literally coated in them by the time I got done. A while ago, I made a YouTube short about the Maricopa harvest ant, and I said that once we go to California, I would get California harvest ant. That didn't happen. I actually got a different species, Pognomyrmex subdentatus. My dad actually found the California harvest ant because he went to a golf trip to Nevada again, and he found this and I was so happy when I looked under the microscope and realized it was the California harvester ant.
That is so small.
Oh yeah. This, however, is not.
Oh no!
This right here is a huge carpenter ant.
That's a carpenter ant?
Oh yeah.
I thought that was a
So
bullet ant.
this is called Camponotus gigas. It is a huge carpenter ant. These are found in Asia. They are huge, 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 huge species. So obviously I didn't catch this. I bought this online, but it is a very cool insect. Look at it. It is awesome. The next two ants we have are also carpenter ants, but this one is the bicolored carpenter ant, and this was one of the ants we saw when we were in Craters of the Moon, and I lifted up a rock, and there's a colony of these carpenter ants living under here. This is a queen. What they do is a nest will have tons of males and queens, and they'll have wings. So what will happen is, once the time is right, they will go in a huge mating flight, and the males and the queens will mate in the air, and then the queen will fall on the ground and the male will die. The queen will fall on the ground, lose its wings, and then go to start off its own nest. It is very fascinating. So this one is a queen that hasn't been mated yet, and you can tell because it has the wings. Alright, this one, I like this specimen a lot, not only because it is point-mounted very well, but also because it brings back a happy memory of when summer started after a long, long winter last year. I can't wait for me to get that feeling again when spring starts. This was found in the video, I think it was called Bugs Are Back. I think it was in May when I made this video, and he got pretty lucky in that video. He caught 2 bullfrogs in one day.
I love bullfrogs.
Reasonably large bullfrogs. And we had a lot of fun because for like days we went around catching a bunch of insects and frogs and wildlife because it was getting warmer and warmer out. And I just really loved that point in time because I knew that I was in for a very fun summer. And I was. And this was one of the first things I caught during that point in time. Western carpenter ant. So, this one is not a Hymenoptera, it is a Lepidoptera, which is order of butterflies and moths. Now this specific species is the Western tiger swallowtail, a very, very large and amazing species that we find out here quite a lot during the summer.
Beautiful.
I know. I think you can tell where it gets its name. The tiger part is all these stripes, and the swallowtail part is these little tails they have at the tip of their hind wings. So there's a Western tiger swallowtail and an Eastern tiger swallowtail, and the difference between the two is the underside of the front wings. As you can see, you see that little stripe of yellow right there? Now on the Eastern tiger swallowtail, those are dots. Here, you see them? It's a stripe. For the Eastern tiger swallowtail, those will be dots. So, very, very cool species. I love seeing these outside.
So cool.
Now we're in cicadas, which, if I remember correctly, are in the order of true bugs because they have a long mouthpiece instead of mandibles. So this right here is a cicada commonly found here in Idaho. This species is about like an inch long. They're not that big compared to other cicada species. You can get a lot larger than this. The largest species of cicada actually gets like this long. And the wingspan is like this long. It's like a foot long. Well, that's all. Thank you, Bennett, for joining me on that this video. What did you think? Was that cool?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.